good doctor?
I used to be. I won an award once from the mayor. Had an expensive frame.
They're all gonna die.
The day I get out of prison, my own brother picks me up in a police car.
It's the Al Travis Show. We love getting her on the program. She is Shannon Watson with Majority in the Middle. Shannon, how are you today?
I am doing very well, Al. How are you?
I'm good. I've had so much fun at your expense already this week, and it's only Tuesday. So it's been a good week for me.
Excellent. Always happy to provide some fodder for the airwaves.
Well, Senator Rob Kupik, you probably heard of him. He was on the program on Monday, first thing, and he made mention that this small group called Majority in the Middle had ranked him one of the, one of the best senators as far as bipartisanship. And so I let him know that I was very proud that he had won the MIDI. Is that what you call the Oscars of your work, the MIDI?
We don't actually have official awards at this point. Maybe someday. But MIDI will definitely go into the hopper of options.
Sure, and I think, and this is what I told Kupik, the Oscar guy,
Yes.
I don't know who the naked guy is standing there holding the little Oscar-y thing. I asked Kupik, he could be the one who posed for you.
Okay, that is an offset.
Yeah, so that we did have a lot of fun with that. He said he wasn't actually given the award yet. Is there a banquet at the end of the season? How does this work for him? I don't want to miss out on something fantastic like a chicken dinner.
Yeah, unfortunately for Senator Kupik and anybody who likes the chicken dinners, we do not have an event like that, at least yet.
Okay.
What he's referring to is, our State of Bipartisanship report. We collect information on a couple of different things. The first is the total authorship of all of the bills that are introduced in a given session of the legislature. And then how the authorship breaks down. Is it you and just members of your own party? Is it you and members of the other party? And then we just classify the bills that way.
Sure.
And obviously for an organization that promotes civility and collaboration and bipartisanship, the higher the quote unquote bipartisan score, the better. However, we are very careful to say that this is only one piece of bipartisanship. It is the part that can be absolutely defendable because it is quantifiable. It's math. There's a lot of other things about that go into bipartisanship that aren't quite as objective. So yeah, but if he wants to brag about his results, I think that's fabulous.
Oh yeah, no, we're calling MIDI award-winning Senator Rob Kupik now. It's quite a long introduction. It takes up most of the first session, but it makes him smile. So we're going to go with that from now on when Rob's on the program.
There you go.
So there you go. What have you been up to this week? You're on these traveling tours. How have they gone? Are you done with that yet? What are you up to?
I'm actually in Duluth as we speak.
Oh.
We are hosting a civic pledge for a Stronger Minnesota event here at 1 p.m. This is the last of the sort of first four stops in the tour. And we are getting invitations to go other places. So we'll probably be some other places pretty soon. But yeah, looking forward to seeing some people here in Duluth today.
Oh, that's fantastic. And basically what your pledge says, and we discussed a little bit last week, some people just say no to pledges altogether because it kind of puts them in a box. Yours, not so much. Yours basically said, I'm just going to be a civil human, and I don't know why people aren't signing it, except for then if that's the way I act anyway, it's not going to come up anyway. Are you having a lot of reluctance as far as signing the pledge?
Not necessarily, no. I have a couple of people who have, and granted, signing the pledge is open to everyone. The very first event that we did really centered legislators and community leaders in that effort. But this is pretty much for everybody. There has been a little more attention paid to which legislators are signing or not. There's sort of three groups. There's the groups that have signed, the people who have already signed. And those are generally people who were able to participate in that first event that we did in July, or if we are coming to them. The second group is people who have said, nope, I don't do pledges. And
Yep.
I respect that. We also, Senator Carla Nelson from Rochester was at our very first event, and she told a story that her husband was very confused when she was leaving the house that morning to come and sign the pledge, because she is in that group. She doesn't sign pledges. But she said this one is different. This one is absolutely something that we can all agree to, and it become a baseline. So we have, that group. And then I have people who just haven't signed yet, which for whatever reason, scheduling, or they're waiting for us to do an event in their community or whatever. They just haven't signed yet.
This is, I've actually found it, at least the event in Duluth on your website, Majority in the Middle. But is this with the other group you're doing? What can I do in a day or two or a week or something like that? What? You're laughing at me. I don't remember.
No, that's cool. So this is one of the reasons I'm laughing is because we sort of put ourselves in a corner with the branding on this effort. So the What We Can Do Weeks came out of the violence that was perpetrated against our legislators on June 14th. And everybody was asking, what can we do? What can we do? And so we put together What We Can Do Weeks. And then we got to the end of those couple of weeks and figured out, the work isn't done. And while it was nice to have sort of a dedicated time on the calendar, let's keep going. So yes, the What We Can Do Weeks initiative is a collaboration between Majority in the Middle and a bunch of other organizations.
Okay.
We want to keep that work going. The question just is how and sort of under what umbrella.
Do you mind if I read the pledge quick so people know what we're talking about if they haven't been there yet?
Please do.
All right. The Civic Pledge for a Stronger Minnesota, standing together for respect, dialogue, and democracy. That's the title. As a community member committed to the well-being of our state and one another, I pledge to engage peacefully with my fellow Minnesotans, work in good faith to resolve disputes, reject political violence in all forms, and stand firmly against rhetoric that incites that violence. Embrace the hard but necessary work for finding common ground. By signing this pledge, I commit to being part of Minnesota that confronts division, not with silence or hostility, but with hope, honesty, and shared responsibility. I don't see a lot negative here, my friend. I just don't.
Me neither.
Darn.
Which is good, because that's exactly how it was designed to be.
Okay. And so that is what you're up to in Duluth today? And then are you doing any more after this, or can people sign it online? If other people want to get involved, because this thing is really cool, how do they do it?
Yes, people can absolutely. There is a form on the website. So if you go to whatwecandoweek.org, hit the pledge button, and then there is a form that you can fill out to sort of e-sign and add your name to that. Also, I have had a couple of different people reach out when they have seen coverage, like when we were in Mankato, reach out and say, hey, can we have this in my community? How do I do that? And so we're partnering with them. We've got a couple of city councils that have started putting these on their agenda. Something kind of fun that came out of one of the events in Rochester. A reporter was asking me, why the entire city council wasn't there. Well, number one, the reason that nobody from the city council was there was because the German sister city delegation was in town that same day. And so that's cool. But the other thing that we sometimes forget is that county boards and city councils and school boards, they have sunshine laws that apply to them, and they have quorum rules. So you're never going to see, if you have 5 city councilors, you're never going to see them all at the same community event.
Yeah.
Because being all in the same place they would have a quorum, and that would be a problem. So I talked to some city council members just within my network and said, hey, if anybody wants to sign this as part of a council meeting or workshop, then, that would be a way to be able to ever have everybody participate. And they were really into that.
Well, let's maybe sway some people who might say, okay, I signed this. Where does it go from there? Is there an overall list posted somewhere so that, how do I want to put it? Al signs a list, Al signs it. And then Al goes bonkers on the radio one day, and he's just doing all the things wrong. Someone can look up and say, didn't Al sign the pledge? What's wrong with Al? He's breaking the pledge. Al broke a pledge.
There will be a list. Honestly, I am delinquent in putting all of those names on the website. One of the things we want to do, get through the tour first.
Sure.
And then add to it from there. But I mean, it's in the hundreds of people now. So
that's fantastic.
More than that, I haven't looked.
And if somebody likes it, they're out here in the middle of no place like me in Blue Earth, and I said, hey, I'd like to get this to my city council. I'd like to get this to the county commissioners. I'd like to get it to the school board. I'm willing to go to each of those meetings. Like you said, it's an issue if they're not at a meeting, and bring it up and see if they would sign it. Will you let others do that for you, or is this Shannon Watson's got to be on the road all the time?
No, Shannon does not have to be on the road all the time. Okay. I can arrange to get certificates. I mean, the certificate itself is honestly, it's on the website. People can download it if you want to print it. I also have some really nice commemorative pens that I can send to people. Yeah, they're nice. But other than that, no, I don't have to be there. It's up to anybody.
All right, then this can catch some fire. Let's see if we can build some momentum. I've got to go to break. We'll be back after this with more with Shannon Watson and Majority in the Middle.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Think about it. A famous politician once said, "You're entitled to your opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts." But in a world full of AI and fake news, where can Minnesotans find the facts? Center of the American Experiment is Minnesota's go-to source for fact-based analysis and common sense solutions for taxes, energy, public safety, and our kids' education. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
In the fight against suicide, every voice matters. Get involved in the movement to prevent suicide through attending a SAVE event near you. Visit save.org/events. That's save.org/events. Together, we can save lives. Together, we can make a difference.
Al Travis Show, the last place you can go and hear all sides. Respectful, thoughtful, and grateful.
Grateful to have Shannon Watson on the program with us from Majority in the Middle, the group, majoritymiddle.com. You got to look it up. Shannon, if I can, because we've laid shrift to the State of Bipartisanship 2025. You delayed putting it out because of things going on in the state of Minnesota. Then you had this deal going on. We have not really talked about the state of the state here, 2025 report. Can you run it up in a nutshell? How did it turn out?
I think a lot of people did really, really well, at least on the, how much bipartisanship there was. There was a significant jump in the number of bipartisan bills heard in both the Senate and the House, both in the committee level. And then there was also a big jump in the number of bills that were introduced that were bipartisan. One thing that did go up was also the number of bills that were just authored by Republicans. Which that makes sense, and the counter to that is that even though the percentage of bills that were just DFLers that went down, it was still more than a quarter of the bills.
Yeah, but again, and this is just from the top level. People are going to love reading this whole thing. The majority-minority dynamics were on display in committee hearings. I'm reading off it, obviously. When measuring results of the entire season. In the Senate, 74% of the bills heard had a chief author from the DFL party, 26 chief authors from the Republican Party, and it's the opposite on the other side of the House. 44% were chief from the DFL, 56 from the Republican Party. Isn't that saying the bipartisanship was still being played out, or the non-bipartisanship, that we were still playing some games inside each of the houses?
We look at the entirety of the session at one time. One of the things that I was really tempted to do, but I opted not to do, was sort of slice and dice the session by sort of what was going on. So like for that first 3 weeks in the Senate, there was a tie. And so all the committees had co-chairs, and there was an equal number of Democrats and Republicans. And so there was a little more sort of kumbaya going on over there. While in the House, the Republicans had a functional majority until the middle of March, and then it was a tie. So some of it looked different depending
skewed
on kind of where you were in the session.
Sure, that makes some sense. Let me ask you this: after looking at all of this, and then get a little political here for the last 2 minutes, there are discussions, lots of discussions about a special session.
Yes.
With the bipartisanship report and what you know about where we're at, and 67 in the House, whatever it is, 33 right now in the Senate. 33. How does any of this actually even happen? Can the Senate be in order? If they don't have some 34 votes, can there even be a special session? And in your opinion, will there be?
Oh, the Senate can absolutely be in order because there are 65 members of the chamber right now. They would need 34 votes to pass any bill. That's constitutional the same way it's 68 in the House. So that would have to be bipartisan, the same way it would in the House to get anything even out of committee, because even to get out of committee to the floor, bills would have to have bipartisan support. So I mean, it depends on what the point of special session is. If it is for the governor to get the advocacy organizations off his back and saying, okay, I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do, and I'm going to call this special session, and then you guys figure it out. That's one thing. I don't necessarily know that they have actually taken enough time to craft proposals that could be supported with bipartisan votes. Yeah. And I do think, I think they could get there. They just need a little more time and a little less sort of politicking through the media.
Oh, okay. And that's fair enough. I know there's committees getting together, groups getting together, trying to bust something out. Now we won't have time. We'll talk about next. This idea of a constitutional amendment, that's a whole nother story, but it's got the same numbers, which is a problem. I've got to go. I'm out of time. Shannon, love having you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you, Al.
Go get them in Duluth. We'll be back with more right after this.
If it's your turn to host a game, grant